A fight we never picked against an enemy we still don't entirely understand. That's how Boris Johnson described the current health crisis in a video he released yesterday when he came out of hospital. This was the first time the Prime Minister had been seen for days. The last time he'd been seen in public was when he appeared briefly at the door of number 11 Downing Street to applaud healthcare workers. Shortly before he was hospitalised. He's now addressed the nation once he's been discharged, and here's what he said.
Good afternoon. I've today left hospital after a week in which the NHS has saved my life, no question. It's hard to find words to express my debt, but before I come to that, I want to thank everyone in the entire UK for the effort and the sacrifice you have made and are making.
Downing Street announced that he would continue his recovery at Chequers, the official country residence of the British Prime Minister. On the advice of his medical team, the PM will not be immediately returning to work, so Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab will continue to deputise for him where needed. Also, in that video, Mr Johnson thanked the doctors who'd treated him at St Thomas's Hospital. He particularly focused, though, on the nurses who'd helped him, listing them all by name and showering praise on two in particular. Of them, he said, quote, "The reason in the end my body did start to get enough oxygen was because for every second of the night they were watching and they were thinking and they were caring and making the interventions needed. It's hard," he said, "to find words to express my debt." So as he recovers in the coming days, he will indeed be making decisions on the country's strategy for dealing with the virus from a whole new perspective.
Yeah, so incredible how he's being able to recover after being so sick. Jonathan, the figures in the UK are still alarming, with indications it could be the worst affected country in Europe. What are the numbers today?
Yes, Sir Jeremy Farrar, one of the government's senior scientific advisors, has said that the UK is likely to be among the European countries worst affected by coronavirus, if not the worst. Hospital deaths have now crossed the 10,000 mark. As of today, 11,329 have died from COVID-19 after health authorities reported a further 717 deaths today. But that doesn't count for those who died in care homes or their own homes, only those who died in hospital. The real number may well be much higher. Yet, as of today, only 290,720 people have been tested for the virus. 88,621 have tested positive. This relatively low level of testing is among the reasons why deaths in care homes are apparently still not being properly counted and included in the official statistics. The official figures revealed today that 13.5% of care homes in the UK have been affected by coronavirus, with 92 care homes in the past 24 hours detecting new outbreaks alone.
All right, let's turn to France and French President Emmanuel Macron. He gave a televised speech to his nation announcing that his country's lockdown won't be lifted just yet. Tell us more.
French President Emmanuel Macron addressed the nation this evening in his third primetime televised address since the crisis began. And in his previous TV speech, he introduced France's nationwide lockdown to help slow the spread of the virus. Today, he told the country that the restrictions would have to continue until the 11th of May. Schools, colleges and high schools will gradually reopen from that date, but older people and those with severe disabilities or with chronic illnesses will have to remain confined even after restrictions begin to be eased. This comes as France is seeing a possible slowdown of new cases, though that plateau is still happening at a very high level. That sort of slowdown is exactly what the lockdowns now in place around Europe are intended to cause. So he was clear that the strict rules had to remain in place. On Sunday, we saw the fourth consecutive day in a row where the numbers of patients in intensive care in France fell, this time by 35 patients. Mr. Macron acknowledged that the French government had not been well prepared for the crisis in terms of delivering medical supplies to hospitals. He said that until further notice, France's borders would remain closed and that the public gatherings like festivals won't be allowed to resume until mid-July. The French have been on lockdown now for almost a month and are only allowed out for brief shopping trips and essential errands. So as expected, for now, that's going to continue.
All right, Jonathan Sacerdoti reporting from London with the latest on Prime Minister Boris Johnson and other areas around Europe. Thank you, Jonathan.